We need people out of the wagon pulling. And to have that, I've got to have them healthy.
Now on Mississippi Inside, expanding health care coverage to hundreds of thousands of working Mississippians is one of the pivotal debates of the 2024 legislative session. This morning, we'll hear from one of those people who stand to benefit and one of the key legislative leaders in the debate, Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. That and more from your state capitol are straight ahead this Sunday on Mississippi Inside. I'm Byron Brown. Good morning and thanks for joining us for this February 25th edition of Insight. It is one thing to have supermajorities in both Mississippi House and Senate. Republicans continue to enjoy that advantage. But getting all those GOP lawmakers on the same page is a different challenge altogether. The debate over Medicaid expansion is a case in point. About 250,000 working Mississippians cannot afford health care coverage on their own and do not receive health care benefits from their bosses. A growing chorus of Republicans and Democrats say expanding Medicaid coverage could help address chronic health issues in Mississippi, not to mention shore up our crumbling network of hospitals. So while Governor Tate Reeves remains dead set against Medicaid expansion, House Speaker Jason White and Senate President Delbert Hosemann want the legislature to consider it anyway. We're going to hear from Lieutenant Governor Hosemann shortly. First, we'll hear from someone who was introduced to us this week by Care for Mississippi. It's a coalition of groups advocating Medicaid expansion. One of their featured speakers at a Capitol News conference Thursday was Lakeisha Preston, and she is very much a stakeholder in the Medicaid expansion debate.
I'm a single mother of a beautiful 7-year-old boy. I'm also a full-time employee in the Medicaid coverage gap, where I help many Mississippians help enroll them into health coverage. When I was hired at my job 9 years ago, I had faith that I finally found my dream job because I love helping people. However, the experience of the reality of many Mississippians that work and are still unable to afford health care. I obtained my associates in office technology, and I'm currently working on my bachelor's in science in business. But since having my child, my health has become a big issue. In 2019, I was hospitalized for 2 weeks with walking pneumonia. 4 years later, I am still paying those medical debts due to the high out-of-pocket cost. I also had to take out a loan for more medical bills and other household responsibilities. During the hospitalization, because I wasn't getting paid, I'm still paying off those loans as of now. My son and I had to move back with my parents because I was no longer able to afford my own place. My car note, a brand new car note, my insurance ate up almost half of my paycheck. It hurts me to not be able to provide a home for my son, and there was no way I could afford health care with my current pay. I am lucky to have a supportive family who can help out with my son. However, that is not the reality of other Mississippians like me. There are hundreds of thousands of Mississippians that work to support their family, but do not have enough to afford quality health care. I rely on Medicaid for my son because it's impossible to afford family health care coverage with my salary. This is what it's like to be part of the coverage gap. We perform essential work to keep this state economy afloat. but we are stuck, struggling to access the basic health care we need. I'm here not only to share my story, but to also ask everyone here today to hear our plea. Mississippians need access to affordable health care, and there is an opportunity to act now. An opportunity to invest in the health of Mississippians and to watch it come back tenfold. Together, we can change the lives of many Mississippians.
In Mississippi, we believe in faith, family, and in hard work. These values enable us to help make every decision in our lives, even from the most mundane decisions to the most impactful decisions that take place here at the State House. These values inspire us to care for each other, whether that be through natural disasters, through economic difficulties, or for each other in poor health. Mississippians know how to pull together to get things done. Good health is a blessing that makes it possible for you to take care of yourself and your family and your community. And when you have good health and it is enjoyed, every effort must be made in order to preserve it. Chronic disease, on the other hand, is like a massive weight that disrupts your ability to live to your fullest potential. And that could be anything from heart disease, diabetes, or even your seasonal allergies. These things weigh you down. Medical care is not a magical cure-all for life's ills. Instead, it is a tool to help relieve that weight. Mississippians deserve to have access to high-quality, acute, and preventative medical care. Currently, employer-sponsored health insurance, the exchange, Medicare, and Medicaid are doing an okay job providing access to some individuals. However, there are many who are left out of that system. Some individuals would love to be full-time, but they can't get the hours in order to reach the level necessary to receive health benefits. Or they may be working multiple part-time jobs, none of which offer health insurance. Or some jobs don't even offer the benefits at all. When you go to the doctor, you may address whatever the current problem is that you have at hand. However, what about the problems that are yet unseen? The ones that are not visible to you yet? The best time, for instance, to catch a cancer is early, before it has had the chance to spread throughout the body. This is possible, made possible, by having access to health insurance. Care for Mississippi is a group of advocates from faith-based, business, and healthcare organizations who believe that providing access to healthcare through insurance will help make a better Mississippi. Faith-based organizations are involved because in Mississippi, we care for each other in times of need. Business organizations are involved because in Mississippi, we want to have a strong economy, a healthy workforce, and strong community hospitals. And healthcare organizations are involved because in Mississippi, we want to treat not only the acute problem or the chronic problem that is at hand, but we want to provide access to preventative health care to prevent the diseases that may not yet be visible. Now, our elected officials are listening. They are also becoming involved because this legislation that is being discussed works on a fiscal level it works on a business level, and most importantly, it works on a human level.
After the break, Delbert Hosemann offers his take on the healthcare coverage. It's Mississippi Insight, only on WJTV. At this point, we know of at least 8 bills filed in the state legislature to expand or modify Medicaid eligibility in Mississippi. And the coming week may see more to come. One Senate bill was announced last Monday by none other than Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann. He spoke with reporters at the Capitol about the prospects for cutting into Mississippi's health care coverage gap.
We have a bill that is going to be introduced by Senator Blackwell, has introduced by Senator Blackwell. I think that'll be in coordination with what the House of Representatives is introducing on health care for working people. And generally, it'll be people who are working will be able to pay a premium, smaller premium than we would pay, you and I would pay, but a premium, and have health insurance coverage. And this would allow us to go to 90% funded by the federal government. I anticipate some taxes, like on hospitals, that will help pay the difference to where we would be out of pocket as a state, pretty much neutral in our expenses, so it shouldn't cost us any money. But by the same token, we'll have this health care coverage for people. So I'm excited to see how that looks, and we're going through all the numbers and looking back. As you know, the state economist did a proposal, and I think we profited between $500 and $700 million a year by doing this. This is clearly not a hospital relief bill. I mean, they're still going to struggle. Sometimes they're overbuilt. Sometimes there are people moved away from their area. We've tried to address that with community health. We've addressed it with a rural health plan, a rural doctor plan, a rural nurse plan. All of those have been done. This is clearly not it. The genesis for this, though, is the fact that we have a 53% labor force participation rate. That's not sustainable. So to do that, we got to have educated people and healthy people, and this is the way we get them healthy. So I'm hopeful, very hopeful.
So will this be for people who are making, like, I guess maybe like less than like
Excuse me.
less than 30,000, less than 25,000, less than 20,000?
Depends on the. It could be from anywhere from 15 to 40.
Gotcha. And just from your point of view, how badly do we need this here in the state of Mississippi?
We can't go to 49% labor force participation rate. I mean, you do the math. That means more people will be off the dole than are working. We need people out of the wagon pulling. And to have that, I've got to have them healthy. Now, we're the most unhealthy state in the country right now, and I want them to be healthy enough to work because they buy a house and raise a family and are people in the community and go to church on the weekends and all that other stuff that comes from having the dignity of a job. And we can't go further. We're the lowest state in the country at 53%. And the average in the country is like 61 or 2%. So we have to get our people back to work. To do that, we're going to offer last dollar tuition-free community college this year. We're doing career coaches to get our kids in the 11th and 12th grade down a career. We're going to make sure that our people are healthy so that they can continue to work and take care of their own families and don't get a diagnosis so late like the lady in Greenwood that she can't be saved. She died from breast cancer because she came too late. We want an annual physical. And some of this is personal. People can't supersize it every time and expect to be healthy. They've got to get up and walk around the block, meet your neighbor. You know, we have to have some where we have our own people take responsibility for their own stuff. But if we're giving them, if they're paying for something, there's a better chance they'll do that. And if there's an access, which we hope to have out of this, there's a better chance we'll have a healthier group. So we're real hopeful, I think. And the House has got some great ideas. We've been hearing from them. Our guys have got some great ideas over here, and they'll be working together. And I'm hopeful for a really good plan that the governor will see is for working people who are paying a premium.
And roughly how many Mississippians would be covered with this plan?
The state economist said it's 230,000. We're programming off 250 to 300,000 in that range. You know, those numbers will vary a lot. You know, you got to be working or you got to be in school. There'll be some exceptions to that. If you're in school, you can still be covered, that kind of thing. But we believe that we'll pick up, you know, somewhere in that between 233 and 300,000 Mississippians.
You mentioned the House plans right now. We're still waiting to see what Republican leadership in the House has come about. What did you make of the Democratic plan?
I didn't see that because we were working on our own. I have not seen their plan. I know the Speaker early on has been discussing the same things I'm discussing, so I think we're in alignment. Our guys over here and ladies over here in the Senate, we have had several meetings with, but I didn't look at the Democrat plan. I thought we'd best be devising our own, and the House will devise their own, and I'm hoping they'll be very close. I get a sense that our really better than and more than we have in the past 4 years, that our chairmen are talking to chairmen, and we're working through odds and ends things that would make us both have a better bill.
And so do we have until midnight for this bill to be assigned to a committee?
I have 48 hours from the time I get it. Now, I have not received it as of this minute, which is whatever it is, 12:20. I have not received it as of this time. They were in drafting. We all worked this weekend, and I was down in drafting Sunday afternoon, going over all their stuff. I think there were about 100 bills that they were working on. So I should be getting those here in the next 48 hours, and then I'll have probably by the end of the week have assigned it.
Anything else you want to add?
No, Mississippi is in a unique position to start making a difference. We have got to reverse the trend of people not working. Now, some of that is your own self-initiative. People got to get up and start working. But some of it is health. They got to be healthy to do that, and then some of it's got to be educated. And we've gone from 50th in education to 35th, and we're 25th in some areas. Our education system is going. Our career coaches are doing great. This tuition-free college will help, I think, a lot with people doing technical. So we're doing the things on the education side that we need to have really supplemented and on the healthcare side. And that's why we're doing this. We need more people working. It's as simple as that. And if people are paying and they have this coverage, we're hoping they'll be employed. And when they're employed, it's good. I did note in Louisiana there was very little change between when they were publicly had health insurance and then they went in 2016 went to this other form of healthcare, delivery of healthcare. So when they did that, they had virtually like a 1% reduction in people off paying, you know, that were already covered by insurance at their employer down to moving over here. So it looks to me like that's about a wash. And what we really are looking at is strictly the dollars that these people will put up in these hospitals and others will fund to get this additional amount. We're getting reimbursed at 77, 78%. We go to 90, and so that 12% will probably be $600 to $800 million.
In other news from the Capitol, we saw some movement last week on a bill that aims to strengthen the state's historically lax campaign finance laws. That bill by Senator Jeremy England has been referred to the Senate's Elections Committee. As senior political correspondent Richard Lake reports, lawmakers are working on a plan that could add some real teeth to those laws.
After Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann staved off Senator Chris McDaniel and secured the Republican nomination for Lieutenant Governor last year, one legislative priority took the lead.
First bill may be campaign finance report, and we had $885,000 dumped on Mississippi to try to steal this election.
In a campaign full of mudslinging, one of the attacks leveled against McDaniel were accusations and eventually a criminal investigation into his campaign's use of funds. Multiple lawmakers and state agencies are now trying to fix it. Republican Senator Jeremy England will be the spokesperson for the bill in the Senate.
The Lieutenant Governor had some language, the Secretary of State had some language, and the Attorney General had some language, which allowed me to look at all of these different versions and pull from each of them. We do increase some of the penalties on people who either don't file or file incomplete or incorrect reports. We require online filing of these campaign finance forms, and it goes to everyone. So it goes from the top state level office all the way down to your municipal offices.
The bill also allows the Secretary of State's office, as well as third-party prosecutors, to enforce these laws, rather than just reporting them to the Attorney General's office.
It makes elections better, and it makes better candidates when we require this kind of transparency.
Reporting in Jackson, Richard Lake, 12 News.
If you have comments or questions about today's show or suggestion for an interview or segment, just drop us a line. Email our producers. The address is news@WJTV.com. We are back next weekend with more of the political and current affairs coverage that you demand. I'm Byron Brown from all of us here at 12 News. Make it a great weekend.